Do you lie awake at night, replaying every conversation, wondering if you said the wrong thing? Do you obsess over texts, read between lines that may not even exist? Or maybe you're caught in mental rehearsals, planning everything that could go wrong until you're paralyzed to do anything at all. If your mind feels like a battlefield, this video is for you. Overthinking is not just a bad habit, it's often a symptom of something deeper. There's a reason your brain does this, and if you don't uncover it, the loop will never stop. But once you see it, you can finally break free. Overthinking isn't a flaw, it's an adaptive coping mechanism that your mind created in response to past experiences. It's trying to keep you safe, even if the way it does it is making you feel stuck. Think about it. As humans, we're wired to anticipate danger. It's part of our survival instinct. When we overthink, our brain is desperately searching for patterns, making sure we don't miss something crucial, even if we're not consciously aware of it. It's the brain's way of controlling uncertainty. It is like your mind running a brute force algorithm, trying every possible answer. But here's where the trap lies. We think our thoughts are the truth, that they hold the answers. So we keep turning them over, seeking clarity, even when we're just walking in circles. You've probably found yourself lying awake at night, replaying a conversation or worrying about the future. The more you think, the more it spirals. And with time, this constant analysis can lead to emotional burnout. It's exhausting, isn't it? Deep down, you know this doesn't feel like peace. You can sense that this cycle isn't leading you to clarity. It's drowning you. The truth is, overthinking is often a response to fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of disappointing others, fear of not being good enough. And when you carry these fears for a long time, your brain learns to keep you on high alert, scanning for possible dangers, real or imagined. The paradox is that while your mind is desperately searching for answers, the very act of overthinking blocks the peaceful resolution you're craving. What's really happening is that your brain is stuck in the past, reliving old wounds or mistakes, even when they no longer serve you. For many of us, overthinking is rooted in early experiences. Maybe you grew up in a home where love was conditional. Maybe your worth was always questioned, or your emotions dismissed. So now, you're constantly trying to prove your value to yourself and others. Perhaps you were taught that if you think through everything perfectly, you'll avoid making mistakes, avoid rejection, avoid disappointment. But this deep need to control outcomes stems from a place of emotional vulnerability, an attempt to patch up a wound that never fully healed. Overthinking is a way to protect yourself. But here's the catch. It's not really protecting you at all. It's just keeping you stuck in survival mode, unable to move forward. Every time you replay the same thoughts, you're feeding the loop, and the more you feed it, the harder it is to break free. The brain reinforces the idea that you must overthink in order to stay in control. But here's the powerful truth. The moment you realize this is happening, you reclaim your power, and it's only once you understand why your mind is doing this, and that it's not your fault, that you can start to heal and break the cycle. Overthinking isn't a random event. It's a cycle, a loop that your brain gets trapped in. It begins with a simple thought, a doubt, a worry, a question, and before you know it, your mind goes into hyperdrive, spiraling deeper and deeper, never quite landing on a solution. Think of it like a hamster wheel. At first, you're walking calmly, just a few steps, but before long, you're running at full speed, your legs burning, yet you're still in the same place. The more you try to think your way out of it, the faster the wheel turns. The faster you run, the further you get from the clarity you're seeking. And here's the kicker. The more you think, the more paralyzed you become. You become so consumed by the what-ifs and the how-to-fix-it thoughts that you can't take a single step forward. You're stuck in your head, unable to act, to move, to make decisions. In fact, You might find yourself avoiding making decisions altogether because you're afraid of making the wrong one, but not deciding is a decision in itself. It's choosing to stay in the loop. The fear of making the wrong choice becomes the reason you make no choice at all. Your brain is clever. It doesn't just let you get away with one thought. It builds on it, layer by layer. One small worry turns into a mountain of what-ifs. Every time you go down the rabbit hole, your mind reinforces the loop, making it harder and harder to break free. You see, your brain loves certainty. It wants to know the answer, and it wants to know it now. But life doesn't come with answers. It doesn't offer clear-cut solutions. So your brain does what it does best. It repeats. It replays situations, past mistakes, conversations, trying to find patterns, trying to predict every outcome. But the more it overthinks, the less clarity it finds. The more it spins, the further from peace you get. The problem is, every time you go down this mental spiral, your body feels it. You feel the anxiety rise. Your chest tightens. Your stomach churns. Your shoulders tense up. The thoughts start to feel like truths, like real threats, even if they're all hypothetical. Over time, this becomes your new normal. You don't even notice when you're in the loop anymore. It's automatic. You might even believe that if you stop thinking, if you don't keep searching for the answers, something bad will happen. But here's the thing. Staying in the cycle is what's actually keeping you stuck. It's the absence of action, not the presence of uncertainty that's holding you back. Overthinking doesn't happen in a vacuum. For women, it's often a learned survival strategy, not just a mental habit. From the time we're young, we're taught to be careful, be nice, be perfect, be pleasing, say the right thing. Don't be too loud, don't take up too much space, don't make mistakes. So what happens? We internalize that being loved or accepted means being hyper-aware of how we come across. And that's exactly what overthinking is, self-surveillance in disguise. You were probably praised for being polite, quiet, thoughtful. But no one told you those same traits could grow into a kind of prison, a place where you second-guess every word you say, every decision you make, every emotion you feel, where you replay that one awkward moment for hours because you're terrified it made someone uncomfortable. This is the legacy of the good girl. Not confident, not free, just careful. Overthinking becomes your way of controlling perception, making sure you're not judged, rejected, or labeled too much. Women also carry a heavier emotional load, not just their own feelings, but often everyone else's too. They are expected to be empathic, intuitive, understanding, to anticipate needs, avoid conflict, smooth things over. So they analyze everything. Did I say too much? Did I hurt him? Was he mad at me? What did they really mean by that message? Their minds are constantly reading between the lines, decoding silences, managing other people's emotions, often at the expense of their own. Ironically, the women who struggle most with overthinking are often the smartest, most capable, most self-aware. But they carry a secret shame. If I'm so smart, why can't I shut my brain off? Why do I spiral at night? Why does everything feel like a test I might fail? But do you know what? Your intelligence isn't the problem. Your awareness isn't the problem. What's hurting you is the weight of impossible expectations. To be perfect, calm, kind, intuitive, successful, flawless, all at once. At the heart of female overthinking is often a question no one hears them ask. Am I safe to be myself? Am I safe to be uncertain, to be messy, to speak first, to say no, to get it wrong? And until that answer is yes, until you feel safe enough to exist without constantly editing yourself, overthinking will feel like your only option. If you're still here watching, it means you're not just tired of overthinking. You're exhausted by it. You're not looking for another motivational quote. You're looking for something real, something that actually helps. And I promise you this, you can break this cycle. But the path forward is not what you think. The first thing to understand is this. You can't outthink overthinking. That's like trying to put out a fire with more fire. Your mind created this loop. It can't be the one to end it. You're not lacking logic. You're lacking safety. That's what overthinking is trying to create, a sense of safety through control. So the first shift is not mental, it's emotional and somatic. You need to drop back into your body. Overthinking is usually a defense against feeling. Instead of sitting with discomfort, we distract ourselves by dissecting it. But emotions don't resolve through analysis. They resolve through acknowledgement. Next time you catch yourself spiraling, pause and ask, what am I actually feeling right now beneath this thought? Maybe it's fear, maybe it's shame, maybe it's grief. Whatever it is, it's asking to be felt, not fixed. Put your hand on your chest, breathe, whisper to yourself, I am allowed to feel this. I don't have to solve it right now. You're not overthinking because you're crazy. You're overthinking because somewhere inside, a younger version of you doesn't feel safe to trust, to rest, to let go. So you begin creating a new pattern by building inner safety, by showing your nervous system that nothing bad will happen if you stop spinning. Use grounding tools, deep breathing, cold water on your hands, pressing your feet to the floor. Speak to your inner child like a loving parent would. You don't have to figure it all out right now. You're safe. I'm here. Overthinking thrives in the gap between decision and action. You stand at the edge of a choice waiting for 100% certainty, but it never comes. The antidote is not knowing. It's moving. One small, imperfect step disrupts the mental loop. One honest text, one brave no, one quiet boundary. You don't have to leap, you just have to shift. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes through it. Most overthinking is fueled by a harsh inner critic, that voice that says, you should have done better, you messed up, you're too much. But you can rewire that. Start becoming a witness instead of a judge. Say, oh, I notice my mind is spinning again. Say, that's my fear trying to protect me, I get it. Say, that's an old wound, not a current truth. Self-compassion breaks the loop faster than self-criticism ever will. You don't have to live like this, stuck in your head, doubting every move, fearing every outcome. You can learn to breathe again, to choose again, to trust yourself again. Not by fixing your thoughts, but by finally feeling safe enough to stop running from them. Once you understand the why, you need tools for the how. You don't need 100 strategies, just a few that work. The 5-minute brain dump. Set a timer, grab a notebook, write every messy, anxious, chaotic thought without censoring. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Let the page hold it so your body doesn't have to. What's true right now? Check in. When spiraling starts, pause and ask, what's true right now? Not what I fear, not what I imagine, but what's actually real. It brings you back to the present. Somatic grounding. Your thoughts can lie, but your body tells the truth. Try this. Press your feet into the floor. Take 3 deep belly breaths. Name 5 things you see. This is how you interrupt the loop. Talk to yourself like you would a friend. Would you ever say to a friend what you say to yourself in your head? Start using softer words, not to sugarcoat, but to support. None of these tools are magic, but when used with awareness, they help you do the one thing overthinking won't. Trust yourself. Your brain was never meant to be a prison. Your thoughts are not always the truth, and you are allowed to live a life that feels peaceful, not one that feels like constant overanalysis. So, next time your mind starts spiraling, remember this: you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. If this spoke to you, share this video with a woman you love, a sister, a friend, a daughter, someone who lives in her head too much, and leave a comment below. What's one thing you're ready to release from your mind today?